I know how fearful so many people in our state are simply because of how they look, where they're from, what language they speak, who they love. And I want you to know from me that that's something that I take as the highest order of priority. And it's core to what we do here in the Department of Law and Public Safety. To that end, later today, we're going to be releasing the 2021 and 2022 bias incident report, as well as the preliminary data on bias incidents for 2023. All of this contains data collected by the New Jersey State Police. And I want to thank, in particular, our Division on Civil Rights, the Division of Criminal Justice, the State Police, Office of Justice Data, who you'll hear from in a few moments, and law enforcement throughout the state for their commitment to ensure that people can live freely and comfortably here in our state. But again, I really want to reiterate my thanks to you all. We cannot address what I think are some pretty troubling trends without the partnerships that we have with you. And I know that you are representatives, again, of communities that are in many cases fearful right now. And that's not lost on me. That's not lost on me, both as the chief law enforcement officer of the state, but also as somebody who's raising 2 kids here and who myself has experienced bias incidents growing up in the state as a Jewish resident. And I know that many of you are living through the same kinds of fears that so many of us have experienced personally throughout our lives, but particularly this past year. New Jersey began tracking bias incidents in 1994. The lowest number that we had was in 2015 when we had 367 bias incidents. But as you all know, and as we've experienced throughout the United States, New Jersey has seen a rise in bias and hate over the past several years. In 2021, there was a record high of 1,885 bias incidents that were reported. That number jumped to 2,211 in 2022, which was a 17% increase over the previous year. And by all accounts, the preliminary data from 2023 was yet another record number with 2,699 reported incidents last year, which again is a 22% increase. Just to put that in perspective, that means we've nearly doubled the number of bias reports that we received in 2023 relative to where we were just a few years ago in 2020. As far as the breakdown of what we're seeing, anti-Black and anti-Jewish bias incidents continue to be the most common race and religious-based, respectively, motivations for reporting bias incidents, and this was true in 2021, 2022, and 2023. And as is true nationally, but certainly New Jersey is no exception, bias incidents in educational institutions are on the rise. In 2022 and 2023, elementary and secondary schools were the most frequent locations where bias incidents occurred. Again, I think as a parent and for all of us, we should be alarmed when it's the case that the most likely place in the state of New Jersey that a bias incident is going to be reported for 2 years running now is our schools. There's also been a substantial increase, particularly last year, on bias incidents reported in our colleges and universities. There were 53 reported bias incidents on college and university campuses in 2022, and that number jumped to 115 last year, which was a 117% increase. As I've said, these numbers are unacceptable, and I want to be clear, hate of any kind is not and will never be tolerated in this state. Acts of bias not only can terrorize an individual, but they also can devastate and destabilize entire communities. And New Jersey residents should never be subject to acts of hate simply because of who they are. The dramatic increase in bias incidents is also likely due to several factors that we've identified through our reporting. Due to several improvements we've made, in our reporting systems. We've made a concerted effort in recent years to encourage people to feel comfortable to come forward and issue reports. We've changed our systems. We can now, as you all likely know, you can report online, you can report in law enforcement, you can report over the phone, you can report to our office, and every report is taken seriously. In addition, our trainings through the Division on Civil Rights and the Division of Criminal Justice, which we have done throughout the state in partnership with many of you, have encouraged people to come forward. And I want to be clear, no incident is too small to report to us. I hear too often still people say, well, I just thought that's how things were, didn't think it rise to the level of something you'd care about. Let us be the judge of that. And please help us get that message out. And if you have ways that we can reach communities, particularly communities that we know continue to, for very legitimate reasons, feel hesitant about reporting information to law enforcement, help us get that word out so that they know that every incident is taken seriously, it's looked at from a criminal perspective, it's looked at civilly, and it helps us inform our response in terms of where we're deploying resources that can prevent bias from rising. After analyzing the data, the Division on Civil Rights has reached several conclusions about causes of bias in the state, and most of this will be of little surprise to those on this call. We know that social media plays a significant role in driving bias activity in our state. Social media has reduced barriers for people to communicate, which in many cases is a good thing, but when it comes to bias and hateful conduct and speech, it allows people to spread that information and that hate to millions of people, often without consequence. And in my opinion, and this is something we've led on nationally, many of the social media companies have failed to live up to their own obligations under their own terms of service. And that's something we will continue to hold them account for. Particularly, I think this is true for our young residents, and you've seen the state take action against Meta and are leading efforts against other social media platforms for the roles they've played in harming our youngest residents and our students. A number of other factors have contributed here that DCR found, and again, this will all be in the report that will release today. They include backlash against the global racial justice movement, which began in 2020, political divisiveness and frankly rhetoric from many of leaders in the state and across the country that have encouraged or at worst encouraged and at best condoned biased conduct. We know that the lingering effects of COVID-19 pandemic and biased attitudes that emerge from that continue to cause bias against too many people in our communities. And as DCR has noted, white nationalism is on the rise in the state, and white nationalists have made an effort to get their ideas into the mainstream, again, through social media and other channels, which has resulted in an increase in biased activity. And then, of course, we know that towards the end of last year, following the attacks of October 7th and the subsequent conflict in Gaza, that there have been a significant increase in biased activity directed at both the Jewish and Muslim communities. And again, both communities that were already experiencing a rise of biased activity prior to October 7th. And I want you to know that for every Jewish and Muslim resident of the state, that we understand the fear and anxiety that too many of our residents are living with right now. And we will continue to be vigilant and work with you to respond to it. Just to give you a sense of those numbers, according to the preliminary numbers we have for 2023, anti-Jewish bias was the motivation in 708 reported bias incidents, which is a 57% increase over 2022, and it also represents a nearly doubling of bias incidents against the Jewish community over the past 2 years. Anti-Muslim bias was the motivation in 107 reported bias incidents, which is a 75% increase over 2022. And we've also seen a significant increase in anti-Arab bias incidents last year. Again, we think it didn't start in October 7th, but certainly has been exacerbated since then. I just want to be clear, though, this data, again, represents a snapshot. And virtually every demographic in the state has experienced a rise in bias and hate. And we know that still too many communities feel unsafe reporting or don't have the comfort level they need to come and tell us what's happening. And so we will continue to redouble our efforts working with you to ensure that people feel confident that when they report information to us, we do act on it. And as long as I'm Attorney General, combating bias and hate is going to be a top priority for this department and for the state. Through enforcement, through outreach and prevention, and other efforts, my office has taken significant steps to combat what you just heard are really troubling trends in terms of a rise of bias and hate in the state. Later today, we're going to be publishing another document that shows some of the things we've done here in New Jersey, and we've done many of these in partnership with you all. There is so much work left to do, but I am proud of the commitment that we've demonstrated to combating bias and hate of every kind in New Jersey. This work includes issuing guidance to K through 12 schools, as well as guidance to our college and universities on preventing, addressing, and responding to bias incidents. We have also advised them, and I want to be clear, that while I'm certainly not seeking to hold anybody accountable if they don't deserve to be, if schools fail to create safe environments for their students to learn, we have advised them that they can be held liable under both state and federal law. And that is something that we will not hesitate to do if students are unsafe doing what students should be able to do: go to school and learn. We've provided free trainings, which many of you have partnered with us throughout the state on anti-bias efforts, as well as reporting instructions to members of the public and to members of your communities. We've done this through our Division on Civil Rights, Division of Criminal Justice. We've done it throughout the state in various communities, as well as on college campus. And we have taken a number of civil enforcement actions under the law against discrimination against a host of individuals and institutions for denying service on the basis of race, national origin, religion, or other protected characteristics. Today, as part of our efforts to combat bias and hate, I want to announce that the Department of Law and Public Safety will launch a new bias crimes public awareness campaign later this year titled No Hate in the Garden State. The campaign's aim, again, is to increase public awareness of these incidents and to encourage and increase reporting, which will help us prevent future bias incidents from occurring. We'll spread this message through every media channel, through television, print, radio, digital, and social media advertising, and we'll certainly look to you all for input about how we can reach your communities most effectively. And I'm also really pleased to announce, and I'm going to let Dr. Golden from our Office of Justice, who runs our Office of Justice Data, go through this in a second. But today we're announcing a significant new tool, a new data dashboard, which I believe is the first of its kind in the country, which will give the public access to comprehensive bias statistics across our state. The dashboard is searchable and interactive and provides visual displays, as you'll see in a moment, of data related to bias incidents. You can see the locations of bias incidents down to the town level. You can see the motivations that give rise to them. You can see the types of bias incidents occurring in schools. You can see demographics related to bias incidents, and you can see much more. And this information will be updated at least monthly. And again, here the goal is to be as transparent as we can so that you can see what we're seeing. You can see the trends that we're seeing in as close to real time as possible, and that you can alert us to things that concern you and help us respond to them proactively. Because as we know, it is very rare that the first time somebody commits a biased act is a violent crime. It almost always starts as something smaller that we can see through our bias reports and that we can hopefully respond to. And I also hope that the public can see this data and understand what's happening in their communities and feel emboldened to raise concerns and help us respond to it as well. I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Golden now, who will give a brief preview of our dashboard, and I'll come back when she's finished.
The bias incident data dashboard will live at OAG website, njoag.gov/bias data. The information on here is from January 1st, 2019 through January 31st, 2024, updated as of today. An important piece of information to note is that there may be information in here on cases that are currently under investigation. So the information here is subject to change. The entire dashboard is going to default to the current year, but users will be able to toggle on other pages. This main page includes just general statistics for the current year overview. This will be updated each month, and links to some FAQs, some frequently asked questions, and the location to download the bias incident data from the state police website. As the general mentioned, we are able to view bias incident information based on municipality. Each of these dots represent a municipality. The bigger the dot, the more bias incidents. Users can hover over them to indicate and see the number of reported bias incidents, the population, and the rate per 10,000 residents. This page is dynamic. These filters over here will filter all of these objects on this page. And if you clicked on a specific type of bias motivation, it would also filter the map. If you clicked on a specific town, it would filter all of the information over here on bias motivations. There are some municipalities without reported bias incidents. There's a link from here. It actually also exists over here. We'll get to that page a little bit later. Also on this dashboard, and in response to a number of questions that we received following the October 7th incidents, were the counts of bias incidents by month. That information is available here, and again, is filterable by bias motivations, county and municipality. Our annual bias trends, as the general mentioned, we have this also appears in all of our bias incident reports that get published. This is updated through the current January 2024 data that appears here down here as a dot because it's not the full year. There's a link to our bias investigation standards. We have two notes on here regarding these annual trends. One is the introduction of the bias investigation standards, which were in 2019 required that law enforcement report all bias incidents in the EUCR portal, and then the launch of the NJ Bias portal, which allowed members of the public to be able to report bias incidents directly. We also include some information on reported victims and offenders in bias incidents. It's important to note that the single bias incident can involve multiple victims, multiple offenders, multiple bias motivations. This is not a count of unique offenders. This is more a count of how many incidents had a victim with these certain demographics or an offender with these certain demographics. And again, filterable by county, incident, and month. We have additional information on bias incidents, such as location type. As the general mentioned, schools are a frequently occurring location type. We have a little bit more information available on that. We also have some information on the description of the reported bias incident, as well as the offense type. And there are some filters over here, so you can see a little bit more information about that as well. On this page, we have a list of bias incidents in schools by month and bias motivation type. Again, as are on all the other pages, these objects are filterable to a specific month or a specific motivation, specific municipality, year, or a motivation. As I mentioned earlier, we also have the list of agencies who've reported 0 bias incidents. This is selectable. Currently, it's defaulted to January 2024. It's been 1 month. There are a number of municipalities who have not experienced or reported a bias incident. You can select all time or any given year to see which municipalities had no reported bias for those time periods. And then finally, we have some frequently asked questions that we've received about bias incident data. They're all listed over here. There are also some links to some resources, including federal standards on hate crime statistics, the NJ Bias portal, bias investigation standards, a link to the data, and then some links to some of our other resources and divisions who do critical work in this area, the Division on Civil Rights, our Division on Violence Intervention and Victim Assistance, and then a link to one of our other dashboards on criminal justice data, where an individual can see how many individuals have been charged with a bias crime as well. This dashboard, as the general said, will be updated monthly. It is available at njoag.gov/bias data. And I will turn it back over to you, General.
Our effort here is to be as transparent as possible so that we can learn from what's happening and respond to it. I just want to finish where I started and thank you all. As I think many of you know, because we've worked together now for some time, this is something that I take very seriously and is personally painful to me to see how many of our residents, particularly our kids, are fearful right now. And I know that that affects you all personally. I know this work is hard, and I know many of you have been doing it for a very long time. You're community leaders, religious leaders, stakeholders in various ways, but you're also members of our community yourselves, and who have, in many cases, experienced the very things that we're seeing in these reports. And so I want you to know how much it means to me that you've partnered with us. And clearly, my biggest takeaway from this report and this data is that we have so much more work to do. And so anything we can do to increase communication and trust with communities that you work with and represent, please let us know. Anyone, I know there will be questions somewhere in the chat, and we will be following up with all of you. But any questions you have, please let us know. If you want to take a deeper dive into any of the data, we're happy to do that. But most importantly, we're here to partner with you, and we need your help as we work to combat what I hope is the high water mark, but we know has been a troubling trend for several years now in rising bias and hate, that regardless of who it's against, regardless of what form it takes, we all are in this together, and we should all stand resolutely against any form of bias and hate, anything that makes people feel unsafe or uncomfortable in this state. And I pledge to you that we'll do that here, and I appreciate your partnership, and I look forward to continuing these efforts with you over the coming year. Thank you so much.